In the heart of Hollywood, a unique encounter changed the landscape of celebrity culture and personal growth. It was 1957, and rock and roll was taking the world by storm. Elvis Presley had just rolled into town for a concert. Thousands of young fans, sporting ducktails and tight jeans, streamed into the venue, hoping for a glimpse of the king himself. But one determined young man named Larry Geller would take his fandom to an entirely different level. Larry and his friends arrived early, hoping to catch a glimpse of Elvis. As they circled the building, anticipation built. They didn't make it inside for the concert. Without tickets, they were out of luck, but fate had other plans. As they wandered around, they saw Elvis walking outside. Larry, seizing the moment, ran up to him. His heart raced as he introduced himself. In that instant, his world expanded. Elvis the legend looked at him and said, "I'm Elvis Presley." Larry's jaw dropped. This was no ordinary fan meeting. This was history in the making. For Larry, this encounter was more than just meeting a star. It marked the beginning of a profound friendship and a journey into the mind of a true icon. Elvis wasn't just a superstar, he was a man with questions, dreams, and a deep search for meaning. As their paths crossed more often, Larry found himself drawn into Elvis's world, a world of glamour, but also of introspection and curiosity. One day, while styling Elvis's hair, Larry found himself in an unexpected conversation. Elvis, ever the charismatic and open individual, asked Larry about the meaning of life, about God and his purpose. Larry, taken aback but intrigued, opened up. They talked for hours about everything from Elvis's childhood in Tupelo to the weight of fame. Elvis was not just seeking answers, he was hungry for knowledge and understanding. Elvis's appetite for learning was insatiable. Larry recalls giving him books, including one titled The Impersonal Life. This wasn't just a phase, it became a part of Elvis's daily routine. On tour, 2 large suitcases filled with books traveled with him. Elvis read every day, transforming not just his mind, but his entire lifestyle. Before Elvis, Larry had known him as a dazzling performer, but now he saw a complex, thoughtful person. Their friendship changed both of their lives. Elvis's movie career skyrocketed, and so did his intellectual pursuits. He became the highest-paid actor of his time, and his interests broadened. Larry watched as Elvis's love for books grew, filling his life with new perspectives and ideas. One day, the Beatles arrived at Graceland, the legendary home of Elvis. The atmosphere was electric yet surreal. The Beatles, fresh off their own revolution in music, met Elvis in a moment that felt like a crossroads of pop culture history. Initially silent, they soon broke the ice with laughter and music. John Lennon and Paul McCartney played their instruments while Elvis joined in, creating an unforgettable jam session. It was a moment where 2 eras of music and culture collided, all witnessed by Larry, who felt like he was at the center of the universe. This friendship with Elvis was more than just a meeting of minds, it was a journey into the heart of an icon. Larry learned that behind the glitter and glamour, Elvis was a man deeply searching for meaning, a man who inspired others to do the same. In that era, meeting Elvis was not just a dream come true, it was an invitation into a world where stars weren't just celebrities, but complex human beings with stories and questions just like everyone else. That day, something intriguing happened, though we'll never truly know what it was about. It involved Elvis and someone referred to as the Colonel, along with plans for a big collaboration. But one thing is clear, George, Elvis's close friend, was not part of the conversation that day. He was alone under a tree, enjoying a joint, while the others discussed potential deals. For Elvis, meeting the group known as the Fab Four might have been exciting. But according to Geller, Elvis expressed some confusion about their teeth. This was not about bad dental hygiene, but rather a surprise at how different they were from what Elvis was used to. Elvis seemed impressed by British culture, especially their dentistry. That night after the meeting, something unusual occurred. A young girl, not from Elvis's usual circle, appeared in the sauna where Elvis and his friends were relaxing. She approached Elvis unexpectedly, which raised eyebrows because rumors about Elvis's relationships with young women were rampant. but underage relationships were not among them. It was a complete mystery how she ended up there. Geller, who has a close connection to Elvis, still feels like he's working to keep Elvis's memory alive, as if the singer is still very much present. He speaks of Elvis with a sense of timeless admiration, describing him as someone who lived the American dream of rising from nothing to incredible wealth. When asked about Elvis's secrets, Geller points to Elvis's confidence and boldness as key traits. However, he also hints at deeper layers to Elvis's personality, including rumors about his heritage. Some speculated that Elvis might have Jewish roots or even that he was secretly anti-Semitic. Geller dismisses these ideas firmly. He argues that Elvis embraced everyone, working with and befriending many people from diverse backgrounds, including several Jewish individuals. Geller shares a poignant story about Elvis's connection to his heritage. During a visit to a cemetery where Elvis's mom was buried, Elvis expressed a desire to also have a Star of David there, alongside the Christian cross. This showed his openness and respect for different faiths. Elvis's interest in his roots went beyond symbolism. He even wore a Jewish symbol, the Hebrew letter Chai, which means life, as a necklace. Geller emphasized that Elvis had no prejudice in his heart. His group, the Sweet Inspirations, who were African American, were a testament to this. Elvis was deeply moved by the suffering depicted in Holocaust films and was known to show kindness to everyone he worked with, often giving gifts to his entire crew, sometimes with unusual personal touches. When Geller first met Elvis in 1964, he noticed a shift in the singer, who was transitioning from a rock star to an actor. A respected director, Norman Taurog, recognized this change and encouraged Elvis to keep pushing his boundaries. Elvis took this advice to heart and decided to create a meditation garden at his home, Graceland, as a way to find inner peace. Meditation played an important role in Elvis's life, more than many might realize. Geller recalls a moment in the Arizona desert where Elvis pointed to a cloud shaped like Joseph Stalin. This led to a spiritual experience for Elvis, who felt filled with love and no longer needed to rely on belief in God. Despite his earlier pious upbringing, Elvis had evolved into someone who felt he knew about the divine, having seen something profound in the sky. This experience reflected a deep change in Elvis's spiritual journey. He went from questioning belief to claiming direct knowledge of the divine, even though the connection to Stalin, a figure often seen as anti-God, was puzzling. Geller doesn't delve into the reasoning behind this, leaving the enigma intact. Through these stories, we glimpse a complex man, full of contradictions, yet deeply human. Elvis's life and relationships reveal a star who was open, kind, and constantly seeking, whether through his music, his friendships, or his spiritual quests. Let's talk about Elvis Presley, the legendary singer everyone knows. A close friend and mentor, Larry Geller, had a unique view of Elvis. He knew Elvis wanted to do more than just be a famous singer. In a surprising twist, Elvis told Geller he wanted to become a monk. Elvis said, "I want to show people there's more to me than what I show on screen." Geller knew a lot about Elvis's personal life. He met Priscilla, Elvis's wife, when she was very young, 19 years old. Priscilla was good for Elvis's health. She encouraged him to wake up early and eat better food. Elvis usually ate bad food, lots of sugar and carbs, which wasn't good for him. However, Priscilla might not have taken care of Elvis's mind as well. Geller believes she didn't let Elvis read books much, which was a missed chance. Elvis was already reading a lot despite his public image. Geller thought Priscilla was also jealous, especially of the close bond Elvis had with Geller himself. After they broke up, Priscilla became very successful and was behind the creation of Graceland, Elvis's famous home. She was spiritual and liked that aspect of Elvis's character. Elvis was indeed very spiritual, even though he was around a lot of people. Geller and a few others knew about Elvis's future plans, which included wanting to live a simpler life. Elvis was smart, but he had some flaws. One big issue was his health. He relied too much on food and took too many prescription drugs. There were two doctors who gave Elvis bad advice about his drugs. One was in Las Vegas, and another was a dentist in Los Angeles. However, Dr. Nick in Memphis was actually taking good care of him, though Elvis didn't know he was also getting drugs from other sources. Contrary to popular belief, Elvis wasn't a hypochondriac. His problem was more about his diet and the drugs, both prescription and otherwise. Sam Thompson, another friend, noted that while Elvis did take prescription drugs, he was actually very strict about others taking drugs, even having a badge to prove it. Yet Elvis himself was not fully honest about his own drug use. As the 1970s began, Elvis's music sales started dropping. To fix this, Hollywood thought Elvis could save his music career with movies. The problem was that Elvis wanted to work with top-notch musicians and songwriters, but there were obstacles. Elvis's producer suggested making songs from his movies instead. Elvis agreed to make new songs like Suspicious Minds and In the Ghetto. This was a good move, but there was a missed chance to work with Barbra Streisand in a film called A Star is Born. Streisand was very powerful in the music and film world, and she wanted Elvis for the role. However, Elvis's manager, known as the Colonel, kept saying no. There are many reasons why this partnership didn't happen. Some say Elvis himself didn't want to do it and made too many demands. Others say the Colonel was to blame. But imagine if Elvis and Streisand had worked together, it could have been huge. Instead, Elvis paired with Chris Christopherson, which didn't have the same impact. The Colonel, while a great manager who got Elvis on TV and in publishing, made mistakes too. Choosing not to make A Star is Born was a big error. Some say Elvis himself didn't want to do it and made the decision, wanting more control. In the end, while the Colonel helped Elvis a lot, his decisions sometimes hurt Elvis's career. Elvis was a complex person, talented, flawed, and very real. His story shows how ambition, personal choices, and the people around you can shape your path in life.